Yeah, agreed. Good set piece delivery from Seguin over the last couple weeks as well, by the way. But
Yeah.
Seguin was definitely working hard in the first half. I actually wanted to talk about that for a minute too, because I felt as
Okay.
though I wanted your opinion on this. I mean, there's obviously things in build-up shape sometimes where we get, our fullbacks pretty far up, particularly like Merkin on the left-hand side, shading over there. And so then you end up with sort of, your two center backs, arguably more in sort of like the right or left back positions or whatever with Seguin centrally. But like there were situations where like there was more of a back five in build-up at times. And
Yeah.
that almost like took like Schallenberg and Kaminsky like out of the game in build up. Kaminsky, I think, did a better job over the course of the game. It's actually pushing forward a little bit
Hmm.
into midfield and providing a different option. Whereas, like, I think if you look at the passing numbers just for example, like obviously Seguin's gonna have the most passes between him
Yeah.
and Kaminsky and Schallenberg, but between Kaminsky and Schallenberg, there was a massive drop off. Like Schallenberg just like wasn't involved in the game, I thought, in
Yeah.
that sense. And like, so it kind of makes you wonder to some extent. And sometimes in these possession things, like, are we really like, is there a way to like get more bodies forward actually and provide more options? I understand like kind of why we've been doing that some extent from like a stability standpoint. There's other reasons for it, but like yeah, I don't know. I thought that was there were times where he was running back and forth along the back line, kind of like looking for an angle, and you would feel like he would have to exert less effort in theory if he could actually use some of those players around him. But they're like, there's not enough spacing. That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I think last week and this week is a stark difference in how the buildup was, right? So in this game, as you mentioned, often Seguin would drop back into the middle of the back five, if you will, and Schallenberg move up to the right, and sometimes they would switch. But like you said, like Seguin and Kaminsky, with all the ball, and Schallenberg kind of played out of there. What we saw last week, why it worked so well, is because when Schallenberg was back there, Seguin was pushed up. Yeah, Kaminsky was pushed up a little bit more in this game, but Seguin was pushed up, so he wasn't getting in the way of Schallenberg. And then when Seguin went to the back, Schallenberg pushed up. In this game, you saw both of them kind of staying really back there. Maybe they were trying to play the team wide. Obviously, with the back five, they were really trying to stretch out Dusseldorf because they were so good in the middle. But it didn't seem effective for Schallenberg. Like you said, just played out of the game, really was ineffective in the buildup. And I thought that hurt us. And it made it easier, frankly, for Dusseldorf because, like you said, they kind of zoned in on Bachmann and they had to find other avenues to get out wide and get the ball up the pitch. So yeah, that definitely hurt the build up there. So maybe it's just a wrinkle for this game, hopefully, because going forward, you'd like to see a little more fluidity between. I mean, especially Kaminsky and Schallenberg are both good passers, and you got to take advantage of that. Yes, Seguin is the playmaker, but he can't get in the way of either of those guys to be successful. It's only going to stall us more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I do think that like Kaminsky over the course of the game did get forward sometimes. He actually had like I think like three progressive carries and had a number of carry on the ball. So he was trying to drive into the midfield a little bit at times and was also there off the ball providing an outlet and kind of helping linking up, particularly Merkin and Antuiaji down the left a couple times, and one of those actually led to a shot attempt at one point. But yeah, I agree. I think there were issues with it this week that didn't exist last week necessarily
Yeah.
in the same way.